Hello, everybody, and welcome to the high school football preview show on KXAN Plus. I'm your host, Billy Gates, and with me, as always, KXAN Sports Director Roger Wallace. And Roger, let's just get right into it. Thursday, when we're taping this, we have our KBVO Game of the Week featuring the Austin High Maroons versus the number 9 Westlake Chaparrals. You'll be on the call for this game tonight on KBVO. Or no, you won't. I'm sorry. No, you won't, because it's a Westlake game. You're right. You're
hard
right.
to keep track.
Hey, man, it is tough. It is tough out here. Joe Taylor and Ricky Doyle will be on the call from the Westlake Technical Entertainment folks. So they'll be doing the game. Roger has the night off, which I'm not trying to give you a job, Roger. Sorry.
It's all right.
But
I got a few.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And then our KXAN Plus game is going to be Georgetown and Rouse. That's the game Roger's going to call on Friday. We'll get to that in a second. Rogers, let's quickly go over this Austin and Westlake game. The Maroons, they're 1-5. They're having a bit of a down year, and Westlake is Westlake. So kind of it's got that feel of last week's Aikens-Westlake game where Aikens won 66-0. These Maroons are in for it tonight.
Yeah, it's just there's a bridge in talent, there's a bridge in numbers, and it's been that way for years. So Westlake, we've talked about it. This district boils down to a few games, and next week maybe they get a little bit of a resistance from Bowie, but I don't think that's the Bowie team that maybe in years past. And then all of a sudden it's Lake Travis, and they still have Dripping Springs, and that's where this district will sort itself out. So yeah, I think it's another night where it's just gonna be tough sledding for Jason Cecil's Austin High team against Westlake, and then we'll see what happens in the coming weeks for the Chaparrals. There you see the numbers. Austin High, Dripping Springs is really good, undefeated. No shame in losing to them, but it's just too much talent on one side compared to the other. And if you're doing the game, and when we do games, our goal is to try to if it can get to the second half competitive, because some just look like they're lopsided before it starts.
As as a program anyway. They made it to the playoffs last year. They got by Bowie last year, got that 4th spot in the playoffs, so good for them, but it doesn't really look like they're trending in that direction. We'll go back to our full screen here and talk about some other games on Thursday that might be of note. Bastrop and Connolly, that's got potential to be at least close for a little bit, Roger. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the one of the three that jumps out, because Bastrop's really good. Connolly's explosive. We saw them on a Thursday night game against Liberty Hill. They hung for a while and then just didn't have enough. But Jace Watkins is a talented quarterback. So that's the one of those three, I would say, that could be interesting. I don't think LBJ is going to get much resistance. Although hats off to Manor New Tech. They beat Eastside in a ball game when Eastside was rolling along nicely. Yeah. And then the third ball game tonight, as we look at our Thursday night lineup, is go back to that.
Oh yeah, I got you. It's consolidated in Lehman, and Lehman's having a tough time
tough
too.
Season for Lehman.
Yeah.
And A&M consolidated down at Bob Shelton Stadium. So of those three tonight, I would point towards the one at the field between Bastrop and Connolly. That district's entertaining. We're gonna have some good ones down the stretch in that district on KBVO as well. We're looking forward to that. But of the three tonight, other than the KBVO game, I would point towards that Bastrop game.
Yep, Austin Westlake, 7:30 from Chaparral Stadium. The Westlake Technical Entertainment folks will handle that. Joe Taylor, Ricky Doyle, and the other I forget
either
their
Jim Knox or Jay Rogers
or Johnny Rogers, whoever
Rogers.
They roll out there
Jay's
tonight.
his brother.
Yeah, whoever they roll out there tonight, they're going to have that KBVO. You can also watch that on demand. KXAN Plus once the game is over. And let's move to Friday's game.
Some good ones.
Yeah, Friday's got a pretty good slate. So let's pull up our full screen here. KXAN Plus game of the week is going to be Rouse versus Georgetown, 7 p.m. Birkelbach Field. Georgetown last week, a big 56-7 win over Killeen Chaparral. Rouse, a 48-35 loss to Cedar Park. Roger, I think Georgetown begins and ends with a running back with a very, very, very apt first name.
Yeah, Jet Walker, he's outstanding. Interesting, though, they've been able to kind of spread the carry, so they're not running him into the ground. They've got a sophomore, Zach Guyton, that's getting a lot of carries, and then they have a good passing attack as well. with their quarterback Caleb McDougal. They've got a wide receiver, Xavier Warren, who's just flipped his commitment from UCLA, who lost their head coach, to Texas State. That's not typically something you see in the recruiting wars, is a commitment now, a Big Ten to Texas State. But so they've got more than just Jet Walker. And, we talked with Chuck Griffin before the ball game tomorrow on KXAN Plus. And he said, there's a method to the madness, and part of it is, first of all, they're really good, so they've had some easier wins. And second, if they want to make a deep run, they, leave a little bit more tread on the tire if they can afford to with Walker. So I think that's been accomplished. And that Rouse team, I know it said 0-2 in district play. They score a bunch of points, beat Liberty Hill in a non-district game. Josh Mann, the only coach that program has ever had. They like their quarterback, London Morgan, as well. They're going to put up numbers.
Sure.
So we're looking forward to going out to Birkelbach on Friday night. We might be there a while.
Let's have a fun 49-42 football game.
Yeah, that one might test the scoreboard a little bit.
Yeah, keep the scoreboard operators on their toes. You mentioned Georgetown spreading the load rushing-wise. Obviously, Jet Walker is their guy. Leads the team 52 carries, 398 yards, so he's averaging almost 100 yards a game, 4 touchdowns. But Weston Stewart, the junior there, he's got 37 carries, 293. He's also got 4 touchdowns. And then Zach Guyton, you mentioned earlier, 48 carries, 308 yards. So yeah, it's not the Jet Walker show all season long. But I mean, he's still a special back.
When in doubt,
we've seen him do some stuff.
Yeah, he's really good, and again, going to West Virginia, so he's a guy that's fun to watch. And we'll see what happens on Friday night on KXAN Plus.
Yeah, can't spit it out. Caleb McDougal, he's going to eclipse 1,000 yards passing in this game unless he has a really bad night. 949 for the year, 14 touchdowns against 2 picks. So nice of the quarterback to not turn the ball over. That's what you need.
He's got some good weapons too. So I mean, that's a Georgetown team that I think late November we're going to be talking about them.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's go back to our slate for Friday. Like we are saying, Rouse and Georgetown, 7 p.m. Birkelbach Field. That's going to be on KXAN Plus and KXAN.com. 7 p.m. Broadcast start about 6:55-ish. Some other matchups we're looking at. Bowie and Dripping Springs. Like we've talked a little bit about Bowie and Dripping Springs already. It's kind of it's not quite this Bowie team that's going to challenge for those top 3 spots in the district, but hey, who knows? Round Rock and Hutto's got a chance to be interesting. If it's anything, they'll put up some points for sure. And then Anderson and Hendrickson. I mean, I kind of gravitated toward Anderson this season. I don't know. Like my previous jobs before here, I was up in Portland covering the PIL, and this Anderson team reminds me of some of the Portland teams that I covered. I really love those city teams that duo, because traditionally the Austin AISD teams aren't really that strong, but Anderson is having a great year.
Yeah, and it's tough. The feeder system is not consistent. They're never quite sure where they're going to get players from and transfers and things like that. But they built something sustainable, it appears, with Anderson. And we've got Anderson Weiss on our final KBVO game, and that should be a lot of fun out at the field in a few weeks. But, and then you turn around and you look at those other 2 games in 6A, Billy, because Hutto's sitting there at 3-0 alone in the top 25 6A, but they played of kind of the bottom part of that district. Round Rock's 3-1. Yeah. If you put that graphic up again, there's 4 teams on there, and then we don't have Vandergrift, and Vandergrift would be the 5th. So there's 5 teams for 4 spots. Well, we took that game off. I'm sorry. Also, McNeil and Vista Ridge play.
Sure. Yes.
So those 2 feel like they're playoff teams, Round Rock, Hutto, and then Vandergrift. Somebody's going to get left out. Of course, McNeil coming up with the huge win at Vandergrift on KXAN Plus.
Big win.
Yeah, last Friday
Big win
night
for the Mavs, yeah.
So I think there's 5 teams in there that really think they're playoff teams, so somebody's going to be really disappointed.
Yep.
And Round Rock seems to be playing better as the season goes along. We saw them against Cedar Ridge, thought that might be a competitive ball game, and it wasn't. So that's going to be an interesting district to see shake out.
Yeah, no, we're going to have a lot of their games, like we were saying, on our air. So stay tuned, and we'll give you that District 25 6A race, because that's going to be a good one. Let's have a look at the Dave Campbell Texas football rankings for this week. Let me get you a little zoomed in here so you can see that better. Your number one team is South Lake Carroll. They're going to be there until they lose, I'm sure. We move down to the rankings. Number 5, we have Lake Travis. They've been there for a few weeks now. They've got Del Valley coming up, so shouldn't be an issue for the Cavs. Westlake, they're at number 9. We've talked about that. Dripping Springs at 11. And if we keep going, maybe did Vandergrift fall out? They sure did. So
Yeah,
Vandergrift is not in the rankings anymore after that loss to McNeil. We've got some other local schools in the 5A division, I believe. Yes, there we go. 5A Division 1, Anderson, they're at number 9, and Weiss at number 10. That Anderson-Hendrickson game ought to be a good one. We've been talking about that. And then we've got some smaller schools here. I think we've got Llano there at number 6 in the 3A Division 1 poll. And I believe we got Lexington here in the Division 2 poll. Yeah, right there at number 4. So the Eagles, they take on Thrall this week. So yeah, got a nice little sprinkling of local teams there in the rankings. Roger, as far as Friday goes, are there any other matchups that we haven't talked about that people should know about?
Well, maybe a little bit more than we talked about, but I think it's that matchup between McNeil and Vista Ridge. I believe I'm right about that one.
Yes.
Get all these games.
I know.
To me, that's the one that I'm probably the most intrigued with in Class 6A to see how that shakes out. And then I'm really looking forward to our game on KXAN Plus with Georgetown and Rouse tomorrow night as well. So we're getting into, as we push towards November, starting to get a little clearer picture of what's going on in the playoffs. So it's unfortunate sometimes because there seems to be haves and have-nots, and so you get a lot of one-sided games. Yeah. And I think this is one of these weekends, and we've seen some weekends where it doesn't seem like there's been some great games. I think of the higher divisions, I think this is one of those weekends we could have a few really good matchups, and then we project down the line to a Lake Travis Westlake in a couple of weeks and things like that. But I think we're going to have a pretty good slate this weekend.
Oh yeah. Yep, always a good time at Texas high school football, especially here in Central Texas. We're gonna call it good there. So Friday we've got Rouse and Georgetown, but tonight on KBVO we've got Austin High and Westlake. So be sure to tune in on KBVO for Thursday's game, and then Friday's game will be KXAN Plus and KXAN.com. For Roger Wallace, I'm Billy Gates. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.